now you see me, huh? Go!
Hey, Mom.
Hi. Surprise.
It stays true to the themes of the original. So if you're a fan of the franchise and you've been, whether you're a fan or not, it works. It works as a standalone. If you're coming in, not knowing anything because you're entertained by Li Fong's story. But if you know of the franchise, then it's a richer experience because you're getting pieces of the mythology, the legacy, and thematically, the elements that made The Karate Kid what it is today are still true in Li Fong's story. Fish out of water, new kid in a new town, product of single parenting, dealing with loss, family loss, his brother, where in my case it was his Daniel LaRusso's father, positivity, mentorship, being the best version of yourself, when to go through and push through to the overcoming your obstacles. Those are all, I could go down. It's a list of a lot of things, but they all connect on a human level because we've all experienced that. So it's relatable. What makes it entertainment is the spectacular fight sequences, but the heart and soul has to be on the human side. Otherwise, it's, just a video game, and there's enough of those out there. So we care because of the human factor. So I'm excited for new, young fans to enter the franchise through this new 2025 version of chapter in the story, and then they'll back themselves into all the previous chapters. It's pretty unique.
Honestly, first I just saw the video. I said, why this boy? Why him? Because I don't know him. He just shows some English. English is good. Some demonstration. Yeah,
all right.
Mandarin's all right. But my colleague, my stunt team tell me, I said, how's the young guy? He's a good, learn fast, clever. Whatever he learned is so fast. I said, okay. Until on the set, the acting good, very good. Fighting, okay. 合格怎么说?
Acceptable.
Acceptable. Then, most important is behind the scene. When we are not on the screen, I was in the motorhome resting. Then I sit there, I see the corner, I see a young guy. I said, wow, yes, he will be a success. Because some young talent, cut, cell phone.
Yeah, right.
Right? Then cut, cell phone. But he always training, jumping, training. Because he's not in front of me. He don't know. I was watching him from. I think he was success.
It's been a lot of fun, and I got to meet some really, really wonderful people. I got to meet, heroes of mine, people that I grew up watching on television, and to be able to be the person who gets to carry on the torch of, the legacy of this franchise, which is so beloved. It feels like a really good, a great honor.
This is my favorite part of the interview process, is bragging about Ben in front of Ben, because it makes him so comfortable. He loves this part so much. And as a Canadian, I appreciate your Minnesotan-ness.
Yeah, I'm Minnesotan and Chinese.
So this is literally the worst thing that could possibly happen to you.
Okay.
And that is one of the reasons why he's so good in this movie. Because you see that humility, dedication, hard work. He is just an inherently decent and good person. He's also very charming and he's very funny. And one of the most impressive things to me off camera, which is what you see on camera, is that his reaction to taking on what is a really significant burden. It's not an easy thing to be the lead of a movie, and it's really not an easy thing to be the lead of a movie where there are already high expectations going in. And his reaction to that was to work harder. Mm-hmm. He showed up every day prepared. He trained like a demon to be able to pull off these fight sequences, and they look amazing. He was always kind. He was always gracious. He was always on time. He always knew his words. And it is a beautiful thing to see this young man get rewarded by this fantastic film that was built around him. And as a fan, for me, to see the baton get passed from generation to generation to generation, and now having the opportunity to introduce my child to the new Karate Kid, I cannot tell you how exciting that is. And he just absolutely knocked this performance out of the park.
He crushes it. So now you have it. Now you have it in stereo. Now you have it in stereo.
Years of therapy.
Yeah, I mean, the preparedness, the dedication, the not taking any of it for granted, understanding that the stage has been set, and showing the respect, whether it be for Jackie, the franchise, myself, the previous filmmakers from 40 years back to today. There was an inherent understanding of that as soon as we met, and that's just was an inspiration for me going forward. I mean, I had that with some of the young actors on Cobra Kai as well, but paying forward this legacy and handing it off to Ben to bring it to this next generation on the big screen. I'm super excited for it. I'm excited for the ability to understand comedy and humor in the moment. So you have that Jackie Chan-esque style that it feels like a young Jackie Chan at times. Yet when we went into our Miyagi stuff and I came in with stylistically, how I learned this, and he was very open-minded and open to finding it and adjustments, and so that was it was like the give and take of creating a language which is in storytelling. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited he had a lot more fighting than I did.
Yamazuki, punching block, stronger base.
Windmill block, more dynamic. Hey, everything is a kung fu.
Yeah, well, no.
What happened to two branches, one tree?
One branch stronger than the other.
You want to hear the story, my story, real story. The story is that when I was a young kid, was a stunt guy. And that time, suddenly, the stunt movie, action movie, not popular anymore. Then we sit down in the dojo, say, what can we do? Nobody hire us, run out of the job. Some of my students, my friend, I might go to learn some carpenter. I said, I might go to Australia, my parents, my father, to learn some chef. And just depressed. And I'm talking about many 40 years ago.
41.
41. Then suddenly the Karate Kid comes out. I said, everybody buy a ticket, because every action movie we're going to see it. We love action movie. Then we're going to see it. Some action movie just beat, fight. Then I see the Karate Kid, the philosophy, the love, and the positive energy. And it brings me up. Then after the movie, we look each other, go back to dojo. Yes, training. Don't let the life knock us down. We have to get back up. The same, we get back up, we train. Then suddenly another Rocky comes out. Then we see the Rocky. Oh, Eye of the Tiger. Wow. We training every day. Then even some of they really give up. Then only few of me, we training, some now becoming action director, some becoming a director, I become an actor. Then luckily, something brings me up. Then 20, some years later, 40, then Will Smith called me. Jackie, I said, hi, yeah, I want to do a movie. I said, great. You and me? No. I want to remake Karate Kid. I said, wow, good. But sorry, I'm not kid anymore. Not you. You are the Miyagi. I said, huh? Then finally I realized I'm not young anymore. I said, okay. Then we do the Karate Kid. 15 years later, then they call me do the part 2. You have a Miyagi and Daniel. I said, it's just like a fame, from like a circle. I'm nobody. Then Jackie, then Karate Kid, then I met him. Now we have we both now is like Miyake. He's like a young Daniel and Jackie.
I mean, this movie, it's that kind of movie. It's a movie theater movie. The journey that this character goes on, it's grounded, but it feels, it feels epic at the same time, right? And to go to a theater and to watch these fights, which are intricately choreographed. We shot, it's to make one of these fight scenes just for one move, we would shoot 10, 11, 12, 13 takes until we knew that it looked perfect. Because that's what we know, that when you see it big, it demands that scrutiny. And we wanted to make sure that we were delivering fights that were, it's the kind of things that you haven't seen very much in films yet. It feels like a new way of shooting these grounded action sequences. And yeah, it feels dynamic and cool. And I think you only get the full experience of that if you go see it in a big theater.
And even emotionally, I mean, the fights, yeah, certainly from the action standpoint, big screen, big sound, it's awesome. But there's also, the Karate Kid fabric is a crowd-pleasing story, positivity, families. So it's that communal experience of being and sharing that with a group of people, as opposed to watching it on your phone and saying, oh, that was cool. It's contagious, right? The emotions are contagious. The adrenaline is contagious. So be it that action or drama, or even the quiet moments where you care because you're learning something internal. It's so across the board. There's a shortage of movies for families that are on the big screen, so I'm excited to be part of one of them.
So much of the central theme of the Karate Kids movies is about mentorship, right? And I think in general, and we even see it in this, it's the teacher and the student relationship. But for the relationship between Victor and Li, that relationship goes in both directions, right? Li, who has all of these incredible skills and also is at a place where he can actually translate that into cross-disciplinary motion, is able to help Victor. But Victor, as an older male, right, is able to understand the things that Li is going through and be able to be there for him in a very solid and important way. And I certainly know that mentorship has been really important to me in my life. And I love putting that on screen. And I think that it's a nice wrinkle for the modern age about how relationship dynamics actually work, right? That it's not just that we have to be good students and sit there and transcribe what our mentors tell us. It's that there is an interplay. It is just as important for the grown-up as it is for the child or the young person in those mentor-mentee relationships. It's what I thought was so beautiful about the Miyagi-Daniel-san relationship, is that Miyagi knows that his life is just as much impacted by having Daniel as Daniel's life is by having Miyagi. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a bit of the same relationship between Victor and Li, is that those two people need each other, right? It's a healthy exchange between the two of them, not just a teacher and a student.
You can't really hide taking a hit, is what I've learned, is because what they really want when you get hit is the hit and the reaction, right? That's your job as an actor. So every hit that I took, I basically really had to take. Working with Ralph and Jackie, I mean, I've been fans of them for my entire life thus far. I've been watching these movies since I was a kid. Every single one I've seen. Jackie's Karate Kid I saw in a theater with my mom when I was in elementary school, and Ralph's films, when I was in middle school, because my aunt showed them to me. These are movies that for 40 years they get passed down from generation to generation. So to be here with the two of them making the next chapter in the franchise, it's a pretty insane sort of full circle.
The new stuff in this film, or for this, coming together with Kung Fu and Karate to create a martial art form that will lift up this new protagonist in this new story in this new city with new characters and new obstacles. That's something exciting that hasn't been done before, and how we were able to combine the connective tissue that it would make sense with pieces of the original films, or the first sequel, Karate Kid Part 2, giving birth to the knowledge of how China and Okinawa connect, and then LaRusso learning that, and then his inspiration to move forward. So and then it's not a traditional, we've done the tournament, right, in the school gym or the arena, and we've done that in the original series of films. Certainly throughout Cobra Kai, very often it would end there. So what would make your finale something special? Well, you're in New York, so now it's in different arenas, different places all over the city, leading to the culmination to a rooftop, an unfinished skyscraper rooftop. And so now you have a cinematic element that you haven't seen before, that feels a little bit, more street fight combined with organized tournament in the 5 boroughs. So all those pieces and that are layered into this incarnation of a Karate Kid story makes it fresh and new for today's generation. At least, that's the plan, and the feedback seems, that everyone's embracing it. So I'm excited to see that play out around the world.
You want to talk about it?
My mom wants us to leave everything behind.
Sometimes it is the only way to move forward.
You come to America. New rules. New school. No fighting. You make any friends?
Yeah, I did. One.
What's his name?
Mia?
You study karate or something?
Kung Fu. Used to. I don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah, you're clearly over it.
Who's your friend?
Connor, don't start.
You really want to do this?
You can't step to guys like him. He wins the 5 boroughs every year. It's the biggest tournament in the city.
In life, you have only one question. Is it worth fighting for it or not?
So we're just supposed to let him fight. So that he can end up like his brother.
So that he does not end up like his brother. Li means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi. I want Li to learn Miyagi karate.
I'm sorry, Mr. Han. I wish I could help you.
You will.
I'm not coming to New York.
I will see you in the Big Apple. Sensei LaRusso.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
You have a foundation of Kung Fu.
We're going to build upon that with karate.
Ancient way.
Miyagi way.
There's 2 of them.
Focus!
This represents the history between the 2 families. 2 branches, 1 tree. This is why I came to train you. Remember what you're fighting for.
When you understand that, you'll be ready.